Om Shanti. Good morning. So today is the 5th of April 2023, and we are going to explore and read the Murli of 12th of July 1972. And Baba is always taking our bar up and up. And this Murli was for half Kumars. There was a bhakti that was going on. And again, Baba wants to lift us up to another level and give us something more. Just like any father would want the best for the children, and Baba also is the same. And one of the aspects that he always reminds us of is to die alive. And one of the most important thing for people is to live and to live longer. So when Baba is talking about dying alive, what he means is that once you die alive now, then you will have eternal life that is going to be attained. So let us explore first, and then we'll have some thoughts towards the end. Maybe you can note down some points for yourself so you can share at the end. So the title of today's Murli is Forgetting the Household, because other Kumars would be householders. Forgetting the household and family with the awareness of dying alive. So in the half Kumars Bhatti, Baba says, are you able to transform yourself as and when you want? You have come to the Bhakti to transform yourself, have you not? So, do you experience the power to transform yourself? No matter what the atmosphere is like, no matter what the situations are, on the basis of your own stage, are you able to transform the atmosphere? Are you the souls who are influenced by the atmosphere, or are you souls who make the atmosphere Sattva Pradhan? What do you consider yourself to be? Do you experience the feeling that no type of atmosphere can attract you towards itself? After having come to the Bhakti, those who think they have accumulated so much courage and power that no matter what, no matter where they go, on the basis of the accumulated power, no type of atmosphere or situation would be able to make such master almighty authorities fluctuate. Let such ones who can make their stage unshakable and constant raise their hand. This is a very nice little paragraph. And I was just discussing with somebody yesterday when I came to Gyan. I often think like, how come I had so many years and continue with the Gyan, and there were so many people who came and left. And what is the basis actually of someone being in Gyan? And we actually, I was talking to one of those brothers and who was there at the same time when I came to Gyan. And I said, I think for me, it was determination that whatever happens, whatever I need to do, there would not be any change for me to follow that Srimad. Whatever I need to do, that was like given. So one of the things that I used to do is I used to drive. The center was like half an hour away. And every day I used to drive to the center for half an hour and listen to the Murli, because there was a talk about, nowadays people listen on Zoom and all. And I said, at that time, we didn't have Zoom. So I used to drive half an hour, go listen to the Murli and go. And I realized that there was a little power that was helping me. It was not me. There was that power that was there. So when Baba was talking about this, having accumulated, I was just very new in Gyan. There was no time for me to practice. But I felt that there was power that was keeping me, doing those things. I said, no, there is no way I will not go. So every day I would drive, more than half an hour actually, because this is just one way. And, very, easy to drive here. So half an hour is actually in India, maybe 1.5 hours. So that much distance every day I would travel. And I think this aspect of, people talk about, I can't cook, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's all to do with this. If one wants to transform, one will transform. Anyway, I thought I'd just mention that. So let's continue. It is clear that day by day the situations are becoming extremely tamo pradhan. The atmosphere and the situations are not going to become sato pradhan now. They will only become sato pradhan after they have become extremely tamo pradhan. So day by day the atmosphere is going to get worse, not better. So just as a lotus flower remains detached while in the mud, in the same way, have you raised your hand in the understanding that you have so much courage that even when you are in an extremely tamo pradhan, tamoguni atmosphere, your stage will constantly remain sato pradhan. So I want to underline the word courage here. The basis of transformation is courage. When one has courage, then other steps come towards transformation. But the first virtue that we need, the first power that we need is courage. So Baba says, later you will not say, this thing happened in this way and this is why my stage fluctuated, will you? Whether through nature, through lokic relationships, or through the divine family. If any test or any situation comes, you will be able to make yourself unshakable, immovable, will you not? Do you think that you have that much courage? So, checking point. Many tests will come. There will be papers, just as the time for the final result is coming close. In the same way, the practical papers will naturally come from time to time. Papers are not given in a fixed program, but according to the drama, a practical paper is given automatically to each one from time to time. So, do you think you have the courage to pass the papers? You're not those who are going to be frightened, are you? Are you not those who do not let the yoga of their intellect fluctuate even a little? The same as Angad. So we all know the story of Angad, that there is absolutely no fluctuation once he was determined and he had the courage. This is the bhakti of half Kumars. You do consider yourself to be half Kumars, do you not? Do you not have the awareness of being half Kumars in your thoughts and relationships? In the beginning, you are made to stabilize yourself in the awareness of being brothers and sisters. However, it was seen that even in the awareness of being brothers and sisters, some used to become body conscious, and therefore you were told of an even more elevated stage, that of being brothers. So you can see here how Baba wants to stretch our um, intellects so that we move to that perfect stage, you know. So Baba will use all the different ways. First, Baba is checking um, from being, you know, a couple. Have you become half Kumar? Then Baba is checking. What is your awareness with other people? You know, brothers and sister. Baba said, no, let's have it, you know, let's pull it, you know, further. Let's have brothers only. See, that's how Baba wants, and slowly Baba will remove the half Kumar as well. So let's read further. In the same way, are you moving along while consider yourself to be half Kumar? That is, as you move along, do you consider yourself to be a soul tied in the bondage of the family path? Therefore, now go even beyond this awareness. You are not half Kumars, but Brahma Kumars. You have now died living death, and so can there be the relationship of being half Kumar in a life of having died alive? So you are a Brahma Kumar, you have died alive, and therefore, what is remaining? Can there be a household or a family in a life of having died alive? Bab Dada has not given anyone a household in their life of having died alive. The Father is one, and all the rest are the children. So, how can there be the awareness of being a householder? So, you have to consider yourself to be a Brahma Kumar as you move along. If you have the awareness of being a half Kumar, then as is your awareness, so is your stage. Because of this, you must now finish the awareness of being half Kumars. No, you are Brahma Kumars. You are carrying out the duties of on the basis of Srimad that Bab Dada has given you. To have the awareness that that is your family or your wife is wrong. You would call it having died alive if you looked at your wife with the consciousness or saw the household as your family. So if I am dead, then everything changes from that moment, right? So I don't have anyone. There is no more any relationship that stays if I'm no longer there, no? They even like, you know, if somebody dies, you know, they probably move on and, you know, they create another family or, you know, whatever they do. But then you are not part of that anymore. In order to look after everything, so now there is a solution that, okay, die alive, uh, don't keep this consciousness that I am a householder, but then Baba has to give us something else. So Baba picks up and he says that in order to look after everything, a trustee is appointed. You must also consider this in the same way. Bapdada has given you this limited creation to look after as a trustee. It is not your creation, but you are just an instrument of Bapdada to look after it as a trustee. A trustee does not have the consciousness of mind. A trustee is just an instrument. There should not be the slightest awareness of the family path. These are spiritual souls, not my children. They may be little children, but even then, did Bap Dada not sustain little children? Just as Bap Dada sustained the little children and made them instrument for godly task, in the same way, for whomsoever, whether young or old, you have been made instrument by Bap Dada. Even for those souls, you should have the awareness that you have to make those souls worthy for godly service and engage them in that. Do you have this awareness whilst living in your house? So they might be young, but the vision is that we need to be living in such a way that they should be inspired, you know. So this is one of the early lessons in Gyan. When we come to Gyan, we think that we will tell people about how good this Gyan is. But the people that we live with, they don't want to listen how good the Gyan is. They want to see from you how good you are practicing that Gyan. And from seeing you, that's when they will be interested to learn and to actually follow you. But if your practice is not up to the mark, then it is very difficult from the words. You know, you can use very nice words, but usually, in my experience, it's difficult for them to listen. So we need to be kind of examples of what we are doing. Just as you come into the connection and relationship with many souls of the godly family, do you come in contact and relationship in the same way with the souls for whom you have been given a duty? Or is there a difference? Very nice checking point. A result will be asked of those with whom you come into contact and with whom you have a relationship. Just as you come into contact and relationship with the brothers and sister at the center and have that spiritual drishti and attitude, do you also come into connection with those other souls in the same way? Or do you move along with your rights of the previous birth? Such a deep and amazing point. I'll repeat that. Do you also come into connection with those other souls in the same way, or do you move along with your rights of the previous birth? What is my attitude? How do I treat people at the center? And when I come home, how do I treat people at home? Do I have the same vision? Do I treat them in the same way? Or is there any residue from the previous birth that I use in this birth to show my position or to show my relationship with these other people at home? Day by day, your stage and your awareness are becoming more and more elevated, are they not? Until you made your stage and awareness elevated and transform them accordingly to the time, how can you claim an elevated status? You saw Sakar Baba. Did he have the attitude, vision, or awareness of the relations being Lokik, even in his dreams? So, you have to follow the Father, do you not? Were those Lokik relationships not living with him? So, while living together, all of you also have to have the courage to move along with this attitude and awareness. What transformation will you bring about from this bhakti before you go? So Baba again coming to the same question after explaining all this. To finish the name and trace of being half Kumars. Just as the form of anything that goes into the furnace is transformed, in the same way, in this bhakti, finish the awareness of your being a half Kumar or a householder, and have the awareness that you are a Brahma Kumar and a trustee to serve those souls who are the instrument. Make this awareness strong before you go. This is the transformation of the bhakti. Have you filled yourself with this much power? Or will you become a householder when you return home? Now, do not consider them to be your family, pravritti. So do not consider them to be your family or pravritti, but have the attitude of remaining beyond the consciousness, parvritti, attitude beyond, of being a householder. So from pravritti to parvritti. So go beyond of being a householder. That is, stay away from the consciousness of a householder. Only if you go from here, having created such a stage, will the non-jnani souls be able to experience from your activity, your words, and your eyes, your stage of being loving and detached. Okay? So, only in that stage, the non-jnani soul will be able to experience from your activity, okay? So your behavior, your words, how you speak. It's not what you speak, how you speak, the feeling, and your eyes, your stage of being loving and detached. Until now, while living amidst the world, you are not able to give people of the world the experience of being detached and loving because your consciousness has not become so detached. Because of not being detached, you are not so loving either. Because of not being detached, you are not so loving either. Anything loving automatically attracts others towards itself. So, while living amidst the world, if you create such a unique stage, you will automatically create the stage of being loving. Such a loving stage will naturally attract other souls towards you. Even now, because you do not have the stage of being detached and loving that you should have in a visible way, you still have to make effort. Okay, so one is that you have the stage, others see that stage, and third, that you're not even making effort for that. It is natural. You will have to reveal yourself. If it is visible, you do not have to make effort to reveal it. So now put that elevated stage into visible practice. Up to now, it has been incognito. Do you appear to be unique amidst the people of the world? Do you appear to be unique amidst the people of the world? Does anyone who sees you from a distance experience you to be unique, or do you appear to be ordinary? So one of the practice that I do occasionally is I travel to a place where nobody knows me, and I just go into a gathering of different kind of people, and I just notice what happens in this gathering, how people interact with you, how you are interacting with people. Do they notice anything different in me? So I like to do this practice, and I think probably now again I will probably go on a journey again and just explore and see what people see, because it's a good way to check. It's very nice to be amongst people who think like you, but when you go to people in the world, sometimes I go to spiritual places also and explore and see what is the interaction, how is the interaction with them, and how do they see. Obviously, the first thing that they see is I don't eat the same way like they do, and they start asking questions, you know so many things, and they see that you always, your routine is different. That's immediately, something that people would notice. And I don't like to say anything. I just slowly see how people interact, and then listen to them. Actually, I listen a lot to them. So it's a very nice practice if you want to know whether how people see you. You have to just go in a neutral way and see what people say, and how do they interact. Okay, so in your practical life, do you create such an impression that anyone who saw you would think that you are a special soul? Just as when people see your physical costume, they understand that you are different from them, in the same way, your face and the Avyakt image should show some uniqueness, and then your influence will spread. Whilst moving along, you should have such an elevated stage, elevated awareness and attitude that it attracts the attention of others from all four directions. While moving along, you should have such an elevated stage, elevated awareness and attitude that it attracts the attention of others from all four directions. Anything attractive attracts those who are close to itself. Everyone's attention is drawn there. In the same way, can this spirituality and uniqueness not attract the awareness of those close to you? Sorry, can it not attract the awareness of those close to you? Will this stage come at the end? In an ordinary way, also, even if you are not familiar with the children of a royal family, from their behavior and their words, you can tell that they are the souls of a royal family. So, can there not be such an influence from a distance by the souls who stabilize themselves in the spiritual awareness? Is it difficult? Does it take long to do something like something that um, does it take long to do something that is easy? Just as when so many alokik, powerful master sons of knowledge go in all four directions from this bhakti, that the sun cannot be hidden. In the same way, should we think that when the light and the influence of so many master sons of knowledge have spread in all four directions, that the practical proof will also come here? What proof? At least some news from those souls who have been influenced by you should come. Even if they themselves do not come, their news should come. If each one goes and individually spreads the influence, there would be news from so many. Will you give such proof? Or will it be just as when you go from a bhakti and you remain influential for some time, and then you come under the influence, and then you come under some influence. However, Baba constantly has hope. Baba always has hope. Now we shall see to what extent the result is imperishable and to what extent you remain unshakable and constant. Through the blessing you have attained in the land of blessings, you now have to emerge from here as an image of a bestower of blessing. While staying in the awareness of being a great donor, a great bestower of blessing, you must definitely enable any soul who comes into contact and connection with you to attain something. No soul should go back empty handed. You are the great donors Whether someone looks after that donation given to him or not, that is his own fortune. You should be a great donor and continue to carry out your own task with the attitude and vision of being a benefactor. I am a world benefactor, a great donor, an image that grants blessing. By staying in this powerful awareness, you will be able to transform souls. Now make your attitude powerful. So let's have a few minutes in silence and reflect. Bring what comes, what has stayed in your heart. Om Shanti. Okay, so now we've listened to the Murli, and it's time for you to share. What is it that stayed with you? What thoughts came? What feelings came? Any questions? So offer to anyone who would like to speak first, maybe. You can unmute and share your points.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Aji, a wonderful Murli. The takeaway, the point which I would like to take is the courage and power. On the basis of the accumulated power as well as the courage, my state will be unshakable and constant, ekras, so that any fluctuating situations, any kind of situations, my state should not fluctuate. State should be always unshakable and constant. I am a donor. I'm giving, receiving from one almighty authority and giving to others. Helping others also to remain have the such a elevated state. That's one point. Okay. Om Shanti.
Very beautiful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Om Shanti, Baiji. I like this point where Papa says, not being detached. So when we are not being detached, we are not loving. Anything loving automatically attracts towards itself. So when we are not in that state, then we are not sending that vibration. Therefore, we are not attracting others.
It's so funny, the word detach. has a feeling of being separate, no?
Right.
And then the Baba says, when you're detached, actually you attract. so, so you have to probably leave something so that people can come closer to you. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else?
See, Baba has given a very beautiful example of a lotus flower. And if
Yeah.
we visualize, if the lotus flower is not detached from the mud, then the mud doesn't attract anyone. Everybody tries to go away from the mud.
Yeah.
But only the beauty of lotus flower is it remains detached from the mud. That lotus remains, it doesn't physically be away,
So
but with the intellect,
just moves a bit above.
yeah, just moves up, elevates the stage. When the stage gets elevated, then it is a center of attraction. Everybody draws the power from the lotus. I mean, in the spiritual sense. Om Shanti.
Yes. Yeah. So so the question to ask yourself is that when you go in the world, are you in the mud or are you a lotus? And that will be seen the way people look at you, the way people come close to you. Yes, Girija.
Om Shanti, brother.
Om
When
Shanti.
you just started reading that half Kumar, my mind just went to that other thing, half Kumari. Because I remember in once Dadi Janki, in a Kumar's class, she had said, I have got so many Kumars in front of me. If I say I am a half Kumari, what would happen? When she said, when I read that, that's the first time I read something about half Kumari, because Baba always calls them only as mothers, never that other Kumari, of course it's there, but in that meeting and all, it's generally as mothers. So when Baba speaks about half Kumari again, then if you see, there are two stages Baba is saying for transformation over here. And I was tracing the journey of Brahma Baba. What he was when Baba entered him, an ordinary soul who had completely everything in life he had experienced. So what he was, and what is the transformation? There are two stages he's giving. First, he is saying, you should say, I am a BK. Because when Brahma Baba in those days, he used to say, Main Atma hu, Yashoda Atma hai. And everywhere around, he used to write everywhere in books and at walls and all. That feeling to first say, I'm a soul, I'm a soul. Then I'm a BK. Then I'm a trustee. Then I'm an instrument. I think that was the first stage of transformation. So I was just tracing Brahma Baba's journey in that first. Then after all this transformation, when you are incognito, when you are unique, when you are elevated, when all sorts are attract, Baba ends us by saying, then you can say, I am world benefactor. I am master son of knowledge. I am a Mahadani. And an image that grants blessing. So I like these two stages, but I was trying to trace, because the only soul whom we should bring in our mind is, of course, only Brahma Baba, not Dadis or Dadas. So these two stages, I was just saying, how did Brahma Baba, process it? What was the consciousness?
Yeah. And as I said, there is one thing that you do, and there is one thing that you attain. And I see that there is a lot of things that we attain. It's not what I do, actually. The power comes by itself, As I was sharing that many people come to Gyan, but everybody is number-wise. And the reason for that, I think that initial power that comes, that is what drives everything, So you kind of prepared, you're being prepared in some way. And Yeah, and then you go through those stages, different stages. And the more you move forward, the more things come to you, the more you move forward. Somebody was complaining yesterday that why they are not being given chance to, do workshops and teach. I said, you never start there. That is the result. Where you start is you start with having that interest, showing up, being able to, give your hands wherever it is needed, not where you want it to be, you know. And I said that builds slowly. So everything has, transformation happens when you, start first with small steps. So any other points?
Brother, sorry, I just love this point, trustee. Trustee and that guest word. So these two words really help us detach and also create a different awareness altogether. So when we say trustee, we immediately this consciousness comes that we are, it's, that mind will be gone out from our awareness or the consciousness, because see, I'm when we have that feeling, right, trustee, then we have this okay, this nothing belongs to me, I'm just a trustee. And similarly this guest, see, examples like a bank employee who would be dealing with a lot of money on day-to-day life, right, on their day-to-day work, and they automatically they have that awareness that it's not, this not belong, I mean, these all money not belong to them, right? It's somebody's mind. So similarly in Laukik life, when we deal with our property or anything, so it's very, it requires effort to put that or create that sort of a stage where we have that the similar example like the bank employee. And similarly, the guest is also a powerful word. With that awareness, we can become detached or don't feel like we don't belong here. That awareness is back in our mind. We have that we don't belong here. Today or tomorrow, we have to leave. Just thought of sharing here. Thank you.
Yes. The awareness of guest helped me a lot at the beginning, and still is I use quite a bit. Trustee is also there, but I think guest also was like, see, guest doesn't own anything. Guest only comes and goes. Guest doesn't get into the politics of the family. A guest, when he comes, it doesn't discuss about what's going on. He just, he's kept aside, no? So really sometimes it's so useful to bring these awarenesses and really helps. And then second thing is there's no accumulation. If you tell a guest, I have a table and a sofa set and, I have, this and that. Do you want it? And the guest will say, no, because I can't take it back with me. So they will refuse. But for people, they say, yes, I want. Even if they don't have a place, they will say, I want.
Right.
So, it's
the
very
awareness is so natural there when we really hold that position, right? But when we try to create it, that position, right, with that awareness, it's not up to the expectation.
Yes. Very good.
Brother,
There's
just
a
to add
point
to
in
it.
line. Sorry, just 1 second. There's a point. A trustee does not have the consciousness of mind. That's just I wanted to read. It was in the chat box. Test papers will come, not constantly make yourself unshakable and immovable like Angan. So please go ahead.
Just as discussion was going on between trustee and instrument, I was just thinking, see, a trustee, something given in trust. But if I just check Brahma Baba's life, he never even considered himself that he gave everything to the dadis, and even that role he gave away and he put somebody else in trust. And the question of instrument, he needn't think, because he was the instrument, like as it embodied, Shiv Baba entered him and told him, you are the one to create the new world. Because why I'm telling you this, I don't know if you have heard of a brother in the 90s. His name is Nagarjun Bhai. those days, what he used to do, he used to exactly follow like what Brahma Baba did, like getting up at 2 o'clock, doing all that, he followed. And the story goes that, of course, within a few years, he left the soul. So I want to understand the trustee and instrument. What are these two roles? Because in Brahma Baba's life, it was different. But me now, in this role, I cannot be like Nagarjuna. I cannot do all that. Because I understand and appreciate my role. But what is that trustee and instrument? Like sometimes I feel the roles are, एक के अंदर हो जाता है. So I just wanted to know the process, or is it the same? Om Shanti.
So I think we switch. These are Baba throws to us, and Baba wants our intellect to stretch. I think that, yes, we have to follow Brahma Baba's example, but we have to become Girija. We don't have to become Brahma Baba. We cannot be, because we are who we are and we have our own story. We have to follow from inspiration and follow, basically, get some hint, but we can only get hint as what we are, who we are. And in our situation, there are different circumstances. And I see that for me personally, there are some people that I need to be trustee. I have to play the role of being a trustee. And there is, obviously, I'm an instrument at the same time. And there is some time where I have to be an instrument and not a trustee. At that point, I have to play the role of an instrument. So depending on the situation, a trustee is the one who has been entrusted with a particular thing for other people. Like the example, the bank, the people who come to the bank, the customers, they entrust the bank manager or that bank to be the trustee of that money. And the money belongs to them, and the money will go back to them. In the same way, a trustee at home has been entrusted with those members of the family. So maybe your role can be more of an instrument sometimes, and sometimes more of a trustee. And both have a role, have an idea. Even I was thinking when I was saying, why to even be a trustee, why can't I just be, So I think in action, when things come into practical reality, then we take these roles temporarily. And then actually everything drops. At the end, I am a soul. So yeah, that's what my thoughts are, but we can churn further on this later. Okay, any other person, or shall we just finish now? Or yeah, somebody wants to say something.
Om Shanti, Baiji, and
Om
Divine
Shanti,
Family.
Om Shanti.
Yeah, I love two examples of your practical life experience. Number one, yeah, I agree with you. Our family member will not listen. There will be no impact on them until we walk the talk, until we start practicing into real life. Of course, Baba has given us so sweet, so loveful vocabulary. I love it. I love using it, right? But from now on, I will focus more on putting into practice even one tiny point on daily basis. So that's my new homework. Yeah. Secondly, I love your point when you share walking quietly to participate into different community, all strangers where they don't know you. So maybe religious place or social places, just start noticing and sharing and learning from their culture.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I truly put these 2 points into my practical life, of course, I will not act as ordinary person. I will act as extraordinary. Why? Because when we are fully charged with this diamond-like knowledge, naturally we feel internal happiness full of love. It's natural happiness that exists within our being all the time, that brings beauty and natural smile on our face, and that separates us from other people. That will be extraordinary. Thank you.
That's true. Yeah, beautifully put. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so yeah. So I just think that, let's end with some silence and a little bit of thoughts, whatever will come to mind. So let's just go back into silence and into reflection of what we've heard today. And then be able to gather that power and that courage and enthusiasm for transformation. Transformation happens where there is power. There cannot be transformation without power. And become aware that we have different roles. We are unique souls. Our journeys are different in this physical world. But we are all belonging to one Father. We are all brothers. And it's not that we are only brothers to our brother BKs. We are brothers to all souls. Brothers and sisters is limited, but brothers is unlimited. Just we see others with respect. They are souls. I am a soul. I'm talking to this soul. Relationship that I have is limited. I don't bring those baggages that I brought from previous births into my awareness now. I just focus on who I am becoming. I just focus into that highest stage of being in this world, but not being bound by the world, being free to express my beauty. The world is not going to be better and better. The world is going to be worse and worse. And in this world that is becoming worse, I have a duty, I have a role to play. This is to shine in this world, to bring light, to reveal Baba to the world, to reveal that beauty, that truth that is in all of us, every soul. Let me check and see how am I moving. Am I waiting for the time? Or am I growing beyond? Constantly transforming, becoming pure and pure to that point of perfection where nothing can bother, nothing can shake. At the same time, there is so much love for everyone. Om Shanti. Yes, so yeah, thank you so much, and we'll stop here and have a great and wonderful day. And like Baba said, that after the bhakti, when you go back, you have to become master son of knowledge, and give that light to the world. So I hope everybody go today and do that wherever they are present. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Arifai. Thank you, Divine Family. And let's take this practice from the Bhatti that brother just mentioned as a homework to practice. I am an instrument, I trust him in this world. We shall meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Om Shanti.
Thank you, brother.
Om Shanti.